research. This is totally everyone's favorite topic, right? If you're still developing more proficiency in your craft, in whatever medium you're in, you might not be able to compete with the super expensive artists who have already mastered their art, but you can compete with other artists producing the same level of quality as you are, and sometimes you can compete just a little bit outside of that as well, because it has more to do with an emotional connection to your art than with the quality. It helps to get really honest with yourself about your result, your pieces, your end work, right? And then look at comparable artists. And I think that this is a very good step, a very important step when you're pricing your art. If you can find 10 artists who are selling well, and that's key, they have to be successful so far, at least regularly selling, one or two pieces a month minimum. And if they have a similar target market and a similar quality of work, it doesn't need to be a similar style. The key is that they have a similar customer base, a similar target market, and that they have a similar quality of work. Then you're going to have a very good idea, just from looking at those artists, what price points will work for you, right? And take notes. Like this is research. This is like school research, like your academic research. And I think that as artists, we often shy away from research. Most of us. It seems to come naturally to me, but not always to every artist, for whatever reason. But this is really, really important. You can't go into things blind, right? And there are people who have gone before you, and all of their hard work can save you years of second guessing and years of experimenting and years of pulling numbers out of the air and being disappointed, right? It would be completely stupid not to take advantage of that, right? Just because you're nervous to do research isn't a good enough excuse to not do it because it's too important, it's too helpful. So just buckle down and do the research, right? Plus this is kind of a one-time thing. Your prices will evolve over time for sure, but you'll have enough information on your own just from running business that you won't really need to do this research again usually. Once you've done it once, that's kind of it. You don't have to do it, all the time, and it's definitely not something you'll have to do for every piece of art that you create ever. Once you get a sense of it, you get a sense of it and you're good. So the other thing that you want to research, aside from, about 10 artists who have a similar market to you and a similar quality of work, is your own target market. So take some time to figure out their purchase habits. And this sounds totally scary because you're going to have to interact with them. But it's important, you need to know who buys from you and how they buy, what's natural for them and what is going to feel really weird for them. So you can even get a little bit tricky and kind of find other places that they buy art and see how those places price. Perhaps your customers buy on Saatchi, or maybe they buy on Etsy, or maybe they buy on Fine Art America. If it's a place like that they buy their art, you might have a good chance of being able to kind of figure out some pricing just from doing your research on those spots. But your customers might not buy there. Your customers might be more likely to buy directly from an artist's website, or they might be more likely to buy via social media, which is becoming more and more popular, or they might be the type that likes to buy through galleries, that wants to walk into a place that's all nice and white and find the work that they love and have someone talk to them about it, and they might prefer that process. But even so, no matter what, you can gather some vague and kind of slightly helpful information at these kinds of places, right? And I want you to make sure that you're thinking not just of the end price, but also how they go about buying. So do they typically buy their furniture at Walmart, or do they go to a furniture specialty store? Something like that could be a really good clue to how they're going to buy from you and what kind of price they would feel comfortable with. If they're going to a luxury furniture store, they're probably willing to spend more on art than if they typically buy furniture you have to put together yourself. And knowing what price range they feel comfortable spending in other areas of life can help you figure out what price range they feel comfortable with when they buy art, and the price range is totally key.